Hello and welcome to the City Show. We're in downtown Lebanon today. We're going to be talking about the progress being made on the streets of our wonderful town. A little later on we'll be meeting with Angie Smith of the Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to go for a motorcycle ride in a little bit. Just keep joking about that. Hey, first up, Dana Bicknell. He's the city engineer. If you want to call somebody about a pothole in town, this is the guy to get a hold of. Now, I'm joking about that, but he does so much, and let's talk about that. Dana, before we talk about that, let's talk about you a little bit. How long have you been our city engineer?
I've been city engineer since about mid-2017, but I've been with the city since 2004 as the assistant city engineer, and gone through a lot of different projects here and seen a lot of different things.
So did you grow up in Lebanon? Where are you from?
No, I'm actually from about an hour north of here,
Okay.
a little town called New Carlisle. I came down to this area for college. I went to the University of Cincinnati, studied civil engineering, and then my wife is from Lebanon, so that led to me coming to Lebanon here.
Okay, so there's actually a specific program for civil engineering?
Yeah, civil engineering, but civil engineering is pretty broad. That
Okay.
covers a lot of mechanical stuff, so your structures, your bridges, that's under civil engineering. Drainage, things like that's also under civil engineering. Geotechnical, the study of the earth for strength and things like that, that's under civil engineering. But I actually studied more in the environmental route, and then started out actually a consulting firm designing wastewater treatment plants.
Nice.
Opportunity opened up here, came here, and started to spread out a little bit. Working for a city, you kind of have to know a lot of things. We have to understand roadways, you got to understand drainage systems, water mains, things of that sort. So my eyes got opened up to a lot of new things as well. So, and I believe UC actually has a municipal engineering program now that is more geared for public infrastructure, but that didn't exist when I was there.
Well, that's awesome. You're definitely qualified. Now, we're in front of LCMB. It's a beautiful building, and the sidewalks all tore up. What are they doing here?
This is part of the downtown pedestrian safety improvements. This project is actually covering 12 different intersections around town, and it comes out of a couple different things. We did a downtown master plan a few years back, and that identified some things that needed to be addressed, and from that master plan we did a pedestrian safety study, and that identified areas in the downtown area that we could improve to make things safer for the walking public, as well as help the motorists out, by not having to worry about the pedestrians as much. So from that we applied for a safety grant through ODOT, and we received funding for the project, and the way that works out is ODOT is covering 90% of the cost of the improvements, and the city is going to have to cover the remaining 10%. So it's a competitive grant process. We worked with an engineer to help get the plans put together and then applied for that grant.
Wow.
And came out in our favor. So this intersection in particular, the way it used to be, the corner was much tighter. It was difficult for people to get between the signal pole and the curb, especially the handicap ramps there. So this makes it more ADA accessible and safer for the general public. As part of this right-hand turn lane is actually going to be going away and become parking, additional downtown parking.
And we need that.
Yeah. Especially with all the businesses popping up. So this will make it much safer and better. It'll get pedestrians a little farther out, so they're a little more visible to drivers. And they got less of a distance to cross.
Wow, that's fantastic. You mentioned the grants. Now, I know our city manager does a great job. Do you just partner up with him, or do you have a separate division for the grants as well? Because that's got to be a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. A lot of different departments actually put together grants. We work with the city manager, work with the economic development director. So we do get CDBG grants, we get OPWC, Ohio Public Works Commission, we get ODOT grants, we get grants for OKI, which is kind of a collaborative, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana regional planning. So there's lots of different sources for these grants. We actively go after them, but Casey's very good at getting grants for bike paths and nature grants. So those have all been helpful. There's not like one specific group that does it. It's all the different departments working together to try to put them together.
Well, that's nice. I got a question for you. So this is all dug up. When is this going to be done?
Right now, the contractor is hoping to have this portion that's all dug up right now done in advance of the July 3rd parade. Then they're actually going to move off of this street, work on some other intersections that won't interfere with that. But the entire project is slated to be done by probably mid-August. barring any weather complications.
Yeah. So what else is going on in the city?
A lot. You probably can't see it from here, but down the street we're putting up some scaffolding right now. That's going to be some improvements to the City Hall building, taking care of some of the mortar joints and some of the stonework on the building to keep it good and healthy and strong. We've got a regional detention pond going on up north end of Broadway there.
We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Yeah.
Monroe Road's under construction and getting ready to wrap up, and then we've also got our concrete and paving program going on right now. We still do have one more project to bid for the year, and that's going to be the reconstruction of Summit and Highland.
Okay.
So that's going to basically be those streets between Columbus Avenue and Glenview.
Okay.
So that'll be a good project once we get that going as well. So.
Man, your office must be just some big master plan with all this stuff going on. I know we got a lot of stuff going on with the roads. You got something going on Water Street. Why don't we split off and go down to Water Street and take a look at that?
Sure.
Well, we're behind the Berry Intermediate School. I noticed they have the covers off the playground, which is great. The kids are going to be getting out. Lot of work going on here. How many miles of road work do you have going on? Or is that even how you count it?
Well,
measure it?
We do kind of measure it in miles. Overall, we've got about 5 miles that we're touching this year. I believe, I want to say about 3.6 miles of resurfacing, and the remainder is in reconstructions for the year. So a lot going on, a lot being covered. A lot of times engineers speak in lane miles. That's the number of lanes that you're actually addressing. So the mileage I gave you is kind of the center line of the road. But overall, if you got a 4-lane highway, you obviously want to keep track of how much is actually being done. But if it's, most of these are going to be 2-lane roads, so 10 lane miles of roadway.
Yeah.
A lot helping the traveling public. So the road route right now, Water Street, this is behind Barry, as you mentioned. This one is part of our annual concrete and paving program. We've redone the curb work already, and the drive aprons and the sidewalk. They're going to come in a little bit later and do the asphalt. That typically follows up with those. And then the contractors moved on to other areas of the town right now. So we're doing all of Wood Forge subdivision, and then Meadow Lane, and a couple other streets around the city as well. So.
And that's taken care of with grants as well?
No, this is all city funded.
Okay.
So the grants are typically our reconstruction projects. Grants don't do well, or you don't score very well for resurfacing.
Okay.
For some reason, it's just a general maintenance
I mean,
item.
on the ballots, getting it funded?
Yeah, this is just taxpayer funded as part of our capital improvement program.
Okay.
So
I've seen those big machines that dig up the asphalt and spit it back. What do they do with that stuff? Do they recycle that, or?
They actually do. It goes back to the asphalt plants, and then they mix it in with new gravel material and new binder and create new asphalt. So it is a recycling program.
Now, it seems like the projects tend to get started later in the year.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is it just getting everything, all the I's dotted, the T's crossed, or is it just better weather?
It's better weather, but a lot of the times the ones that get started late in the year are grant projects, and that is just due to the state's funding cycle.
Okay.
The City of Lebanon works on a calendar year, so our year starts in January and ends in December. The state works on what's called a fiscal year, so their year doesn't start until July and then ends in June.
Yeah.
So the year's grant funding is not released until July, and there's stipulations on the grants that you can't bid until you've been the money is encumbered by the state. So that leads us to not being able to bid certain projects until late in the year.
Wow.
And we try to accommodate for that. Similar to Monroe Road, that was a grant-funded project, and that is one where we started.
That seemed like a pretty good road.
Yeah.
Why did they have to dig that up? Did they put some plumbing, or?
No, well, we did replace a water main through there. It had a very old water main. It's starting to have a lot of breaks on it, and that is a main transmission main for the city.
Okay.
That routes water to other areas. And then the pavement, it was getting kind of rough.
Okay.
And that was one we put a grant in for and were awarded. So, and that allows us to keep it from becoming totally bad.
Yeah.
And this should give us a good long life now.
Yeah.
But that one we couldn't bid until July of last year, so we went ahead and took care of the water main during the fall and into the winter, and then buttoned it up for the winter time, and then came back in the spring to finish the construction.
Yeah. So you got a lot of road work going on. Speaking of water, you got a special water project over at County Park. Let's go take a look at that.
Sounds good.
Hey, we're out at Colonial Park. We were out here a couple weeks ago with Casey Burdick, and she was talking about they're going to put a pond here, and lo and behold, they're putting a pond here.
Yep.
What's going on?
This was kind of put together with the downtown master plan, the North Broadway regional plan. So this was called for, it's kind of going to be a public amenity in the park system. It's going to be a pond, it's going to be open to the public, people can come see it. But it also serves a second function. It's actually serving as a detention pond for several of the areas up to the north of here, including our new fire station that's getting ready to go in, as well as the fairgrounds.
Now, I understand years ago, I'm not the historian that Joe is, but they used to have a reservoir up here?
Yeah, there was a reservoir for the city here, and I believe it was also helped to use to provide water for the canal system that used to run through the area.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure the exact timeline, but there was an issue where the dam that held the reservoir back breached at one point in time, caused massive flooding. So at that point, they abandoned the reservoir. So, but it appears that we may be in some of the area where the reservoir was, just based on what they're digging up.
Getting that pond muck.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? Recreation area? We're going to be doing some fishing here?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's going to be kind of handled through the Parks Department, but I believe it is going to be open for public fishing. Yeah. And then, just a nice amenity, come out and have a picnic next to the pond, and this area will be leveled out in grass. So.
Yeah. Now, how big is this pond going to be?
It's going to be over an acre. I'm wanting to say a little less than 2. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it's going to be a good-sized pond.
Now, I understand in addition to runoff, we're going to be getting some water from the fairgrounds. How are you going to pipe that over? How's it getting over here?
Right now, the area where the fire station used to be part of the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
So that area, it was already piped down to here, and then it currently comes down, goes underneath Broadway, and then discharges nearby to here. So
it's already there?
Yeah, it's already there. We're just tying in with the storm sewer system going in with the fire station, and so that'll bring it all here.
Wow. How do you keep track of all this stuff? That's incredible.
It's a task.
What's the end date on this? When are we going to have this all done? And
it should be wrapped up by the end of hopefully July, maybe into August a little bit, depending on weather.
So actually have a grand opening the following year, fishing?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. Any other thoughts or ideas on what's going on here?
No, I mean, just they're doing a great job. This is some big equipment they got to bring in here. It's something a little more than what we normally see on our road reconstruction jobs.
Yeah, this is awesome. Now we got one more stop. We're going to go over to Monroe, another street that's been having some work done. So let's go check that out.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're on Monroe Road, right in front of Colonial North Park, and I got to tell you, this road looked good to me. Did you need to do a tear up? Could you do a layover? And how do you determine that? And what's the cost difference?
Well, the cost is significant. A reconstruction costs way more than just a regular resurfacing, but there's a lot more involved. This one is kind of a hybrid. This job needed to be done because of years of buildup of asphalt. They didn't mill off the old layers, and they just added more and more layers to it. So all the curb was covered up, and the curb was getting deteriorated. So the only real way we could do this was to go in and remove all the curb, and then lower the road again back to where it should be. In this case, what we did, we tried to preserve as much of the existing asphalt below as possible. Where a traditional reconstruction, we're ripping everything out and going all the way down, and then usually improving the base of the road and then putting new asphalt on top. This one is more or less, we milled off a lot of that excess asphalt that was there after replacing the curb, and then we're going to put back the proper amount of asphalt on top. So this one is a little bit in between, but the curb had to be replaced, as well as the catch basin tops. They were shot.
And this is going to last a lot longer?
Yeah, a lot longer.
Yeah.
Obviously, maintenance will have to be done on it. We'll have to come back and mill off the top 1.5 inches, someday down the road and put that back. But that helps preserve the life of the road overall. So.
Now, you used to have a concrete sidewalk here.
Correct.
You moved that out and you brought this wider path. Is this tied in with the bike trail?
It is. It's part of the overall network. So we bite off pieces of that as we can.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a master plan that the Parks Department has for bike paths throughout the city. And this was a good opportunity to put this in. And this was also a grant-funded project, so the grant helped put this in as well.
Wow. How much money is our city spending on this road project per year?
This year's road projects, we're in the neighborhood of $5 million of the roads that are involved in that. This road is actually not included in that. This was last year's project. It's just tailing into this year. But of road projects that the city is funding, we are putting in about $5 million this year.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
We're spending $4.8 million this year on road projects, and of that, $1.4 million is in grants.
Okay, fantastic.
So this is separate from that. This was last year's project. This was about a $1.7 million project overall, including the water that was done with it. But the numbers I gave you, that's only just the road portion of the projects. It doesn't include the utilities that are being done in conjunction with the projects.
Yeah, I got a couple of friends who live just off this road, and they haven't enjoyed the inconvenience. And looking at this thing, I was thinking, do you have a flagger here? And you said, no, you decided to go just one-way traffic.
Correct.
I think that's brilliant because the standpoint of cost, not having to pay people. And after a while, did people get used to it and just...
Yeah, it was an initial shock to the residents here, and it is an inconvenience. But the nice thing is it was consistent every day. The problem is when you try to route traffic around the work zone and try to maintain traffic both ways, you don't know what it's going to be each day, when you're coming home from work or whatever. So this made it very consistent.
Did you handle a lot of complaints initially on that? Or?
There's a few, but not, nothing terrible.
Okay.
And once we explained why we were doing it the way that people typically understand.
We started off, and I was kind of joking about potholes and things like that, but residents might see things in the roads that need some work. Do you have them assisting and calling the city and saying, hey, we got a problem here?
Yeah.
And do you encourage them to get that information to you? And if so, how do they get a hold of you? And how do they tell you about that?
Typically, the easiest way to do it, I believe there is a way you can file a complaint on the city's website, but also, call the service department, just the general city number, and just let them know where you've observed a pothole, and they'll notify the public works department, who does the day-to-day maintenance of the streets. As far as day-to-day maintenance, that's usually handled by the respective utilities. The water department handles water main breaks, and the sanitary sewer department handles it, like if there's a blockage or something like that in the sewer system. And then the public works department handles road issues. Engineering department, we kind of do the major projects, the total reconstructions or replacements. But then, we all work together in trying to put together our roadmap for what we're doing ahead.
That's awesome how it all comes together. And you're doing this, so you did the trail. Here, are there any other projects going on this year that we haven't talked about that you might want to shed some light on?
The only other one that we haven't visited or really done anything yet, and it's still out, going to be out for bidding coming up next month, is the Summit Highland reconstruction. I know there's a lot of people looking forward to that project being finished up, and that one is a total reconstruction of 2 roadways, and also doing a little block of oak between the 2 of them. So that one will be coming up, and that'll be a major improvement. What we're going to be doing on that project this year is we'll be letting bids in July, and then we'll take the bids in and go through council and all that. We'll probably do some utility work this year, and then we'll button up the road for the winter time, and then come back for starting the full reconstruction in the spring.
Non-stop. You guys are really busy. Thank you so much for coming out of the office and meeting with me out here and giving our viewers an opportunity to see what's going on. Hopefully we answered a lot of questions. Hey, we'll be back. We're going to go back downtown and meet with Angie Smith of the Chamber of Commerce right after this break.
Break your fast food habit at Kelly's Meats and Deli at 1001 West Main Street in Lebanon. Stop in for a quick lunch featuring made-to-order sandwiches, tasty sides, and mouth-watering daily specials. For dinner, Kelly's offers fresh-cut steaks, chops, and seafood, plus a variety of prepared dishes that only need to be reheated. You'll also find a large selection of high-quality wine and beer that can make any meal a special event. Kelly's Meats and Deli open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, now open for dinner Saturdays 6 to 9 p.m. And remember, we cater too.
Plantar fasciitis is terrible. You're reminded of your pain with every step that you take. Our approach is unique in that we use clinical massage to break up those adhesions. We'll even fit you for orthotics. If there's a joint misaligned, we may need to set that. There's no way for us to know until you come in for your free assessment. If it's only clinical massage that you need, it's very affordable. $28 for one session. You deserve to have relief. Call us at 933-9799 and schedule your free assessment.
Since 1954, Hardee's Interiors has been providing quality furnishings for homes in and around Lebanon, Ohio. Today, you'll still find quality antique and vintage furniture along with new made-in-America furniture of all styles. At Hardee's, you can create a mix of furniture and accessories that truly reflects your personality, all made to last a lifetime. Designers are welcome and so are you. Hardy's Interiors at 208 and a half Wright Avenue or online at hardysinteriors.com.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back. We're here in front of the newest landmark in Lebanon, the Mulberry Plaza sign, and it's amazing. And it's so appropriate that we're here with Angie Smith of the Chamber of Commerce, because she's helping our town, and the Chamber is just claw out of this pandemic. This is exciting, and you're going to be bringing back the third Friday. So let's talk about that a little bit. As far as what has the Chamber done in the past month to help the businesses kind of get back on track?
So obviously we help with getting information out about various loans through the federal government and state government, but we also have been able to implement lately, or help implement with the help of the City of Main Street, that weekend outdoor dining.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they'll close Mulberry Street and put tables out, and that gives our restaurants the opportunity to have more of the, customers
social distancing
with being able to provide that social distancing, because right now obviously our restaurants can't all open at full capacity, so it kind of helps give them that opportunity to continue to grow their business. So any way we can, we've helped with advocating, we've helped with press releases, we've helped with filling out loan applications, just any way they need our help.
That's nice. That's nice. How's the community responded to coming out and getting outside? And
they've enjoyed it. It's nice to come down and see, a great crowd enjoying, eating and spending time with their friends while having that social distance experience, and to be outside where you're not enclosed and where, all kinds of different things can happen. So they've seemed to really enjoy it. Now, obviously, when it's super hot, they may not enjoy being outside quite as much, but so far they've really enjoyed it.
Have there been any unintended consequences of the limited traffic and the flow through here?
So we've had a few businesses. The city's done a wonderful job of handling those situations and trying to accommodate the businesses that, because obviously they lose parking. So during the business week, when they close down on Fridays, parking can be an issue, especially handicap. And so the city's come back in and said, hey, let's change, and we're going to put a handicap parking spot here. The accommodations have just, they're working as hard as they can to help everybody.
Unfortunately, change is so necessary, and it's new waters. We're coming back in to open up the third Friday. Are there changes that you have to do with that?
There are several changes. We are excited that I got the final stamp of approval from our Warren County Health Commissioner on Monday with our plan. So we obviously want to provide the safest and healthiest place that we can for our community, and still be able to offer the community a fun weekend of Third Fridays. This is our 11th year. So we'll be closing off, to provide that social distance and a healthy space, we'll be closing off Broadway from Main to Silver, and then Mulberry from Sycamore down to Cherry.
Nice.
And what we'll be doing this year is on Broadway, we'll have tables like we use for the weekend. They'll be spread out on either side of Broadway. Because the main thing is Third Friday on Mulberry Street can get really congested and really packed, so we had to provide that spacing. So by moving tables onto Broadway, we can provide that social distancing. We're also moving our food vendors that used to be on Mulberry. They're going to be on either end of Broadway, so we'll have 3 on each end. Then on Mulberry, we'll have our beer tents. We'll also have a chill zone area in the parking lot behind Witt's, where the fire station is bringing in misters to kind of cool people off with social distancing. Then down here, because we want to provide people to come down this far for our other businesses. So we're going to have a kid zone, fun zone area.
Okay.
We have got some local businesses bringing in various equipment, kind of like touch a truck. There'll be sidewalk chalk, there'll be other things, but we're able to spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think we're also going to have some of our local artists, vendors are going to set up to sell some things over here in this parking lot as well. Just an opportunity to try and reach as many people as we can, offer experience for, you know, everyone in your family, all at the same time of it being safe.
Now what about the mask? Is that going to be mandatory or on your own discretion?
So after meeting with the health commissioner, it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
We welcome it. If,
Okay.
you know, if our community members feel safer with it on, absolutely. We also ask that if you don't, that you provide the social distancing, you know, as much as possible. Now our volunteers, it's a little different. We ask that they wear a mask. We obviously can't mandate it. We'll provide those masks for them, but we'll also be checking their temperature upon arrival. If they have a temperature over 100.4, they're unable to stay, and we ask that they leave immediately. We also ask that, you know, there'll be hand sanitizer. We ask that anytime anything's exchanged to use the hand sanitizer. We were even going to offer gloves, and Dwayne Stanberry said gloves or no gloves is pretty much the same thing. So our volunteer situation looks a little bit different, but again, if we can provide a safe place for them, that's what we want to do. We also have to spread them out. So before, where it was just 2 tents, actually 1, sometimes there'll now be 4 tents to buy tickets, spread out again on Mulberry, to again alleviate those crowds. So and then various hand sanitizer stations, like we are covering it all. We have a group that'll come in and clean and sanitize the tables, just for that, again, that peace of mind.
Are these
for the
volunteers,
community.
or is this a separate? Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a volunteer group.
So what do you got lined up for is it the 17th? Is that going to be our first
17th,
one?
yes.
Do you have the entertainment? Obviously, it's lined up already.
We do.
Who's performing?
So this year we are going to try and keep the stage filled the entire time. So opening for us in July is going to be our very own Sam Deary. He is a local student who is a one-man band.
Wow.
Like, he can play it, any instrument. He's really good. And young. So he's going to play from 5:30 to 7:30. And then from 8 to 11, 3-piece revival. Which is a cover band. They're going to play. So I think this might be their first time here, or maybe their second. But they're really excited about coming back.
So do you have all the other dates lined up and all the other shows as well?
We do.
So who's the following?
So the following weekend we have, which is August 21st, opening for us is going to be Orgonia, our local band. And we're hoping, fingers crossed, we've not heard back, but we're hoping to have some of the local music students perform too. They're waiting to kind of see how things go with that. So they'll be here again from 5:30 to 7:30, and then we have a new band coming out. It's Catalina Wine Mixer Band, and they're your 70s and 80s cover band.
That's my music.
Yeah. You'll love them.
I'll be singing along.
Yes, they do a fantastic job. What's neat is all of the members of that band play in other bands, and so they come together, they play. You know, they're not as busy as their other bands, because clearly they're playing in both, but they do a great job. So we're excited to have them, because they bring, you know, the following from their other bands, and just to get those people into our town, we're pretty excited.
That's nice. What about September?
So September's our last one, and it is September the 18th, and opening for us is Nick Baker. He is the husband of Flowers Rafters on Broadway. So he's going to play, and then we have the Naked Karate Girls coming back again to close out our third Friday season.
Now you mentioned the vendors. Do we have some beer vendors that local breweries coming in?
We do.
Tell us about some of those.
So we have 3 this year. We have Common Beer from Mason is coming back. We have, I wrote it all down so that I would not forget, Narrow Path,
Yeah.
which is from Loveland. And then we have the brewery that has been part of Valley Vineyard, Cellar Dweller.
Okay.
They're going to be back. And
Boy,
then,
I love what they've done. Their new branding. They've done such
They've
a
done a
great
great
job.
job.
If you haven't been out there, head out there. It's just spectacular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we'll have through Ohio Eagle, who will provide our beer trailer. We will also have Warped Wing as another.
Okay.
They sell their beer, so
Nice,
it's,
fun.
we we can bring in
How-
local breweries. That's what we kind of want to
How's
do.
the sponsorship this year? Do you have a main sponsor and then other ones as well? And are
We
you
do.
looking for any additional sponsorship?
We are. We have been very fortunate that our sponsors in the past are obviously sponsoring again.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple of new sponsors. Sightworks Construction is a new
Okay.
sponsor this year. They are going to be the stage sponsor for all 3 events. We also have Thrush and Sun Roofing, and they are going to be the presenting sponsor for September.
Wow.
So we still have some other opportunities. Our Chill Zone sponsor
Yeah.
has not been totally
Okay.
filled yet.
Okay.
And our Kids Zone sponsor has not been filled yet. And then we also have a smaller sponsorship just for others that they want to help
Yeah.
and they want to sponsor. They don't really have the budget to spend a whole lot of
Well,
money.
I know for me
We're
as a
after that.
businessman, I'd like to know what's the rate on the smallest sponsor to be able to be involved in this? How much is that?
Well, it's as low as 150.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And how do they find out? They get a hold of you at the
They do.
chamber? Okay.
They do. They can contact us at our phone number, 513-932-1100, or
Yeah.
they can email us at info@lebanonchamber.org.
Wow. Back at it, man. We're
Yeah.
we're out there. It's going to be soon like nothing's happening. We're back to normal.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the benefits of being a chamber member. Why should somebody, if they're not a chamber member, considering, joining the chamber, and what do they get?
So obviously, we want our businesses to be a chamber member because we obviously support them, and whether it's through visibility and helping them find their niche in the community. Our main goal is to help them grow, but it's also too, we advocate for them. If they have a situation where they're just not getting through to whoever, or they have a situation, a policy change, we help them negotiate and navigate through that.
Yeah.
We help with marketing. We help with, obviously, from promoting to design work. We help celebrations. We love to celebrate with them with ribbon cuttings or, milestones. Obviously, the credibility and the business referral, it amazes me every single day the number of people that we get calls from wanting us to tell them in a particular area who are chamber members and what they do.
Yeah.
That speaks volume. A lot of times your consumers want that credibility of being a chamber member. So we're able to do that as well. We also provide, business development and education, where it's kind of a win-win, where our chamber members will come in and do a professional development on a topic that's important to them, and our members are able to come in and take something back to their community as well.
Nice. Now, your big event is the horse-drawn carriage.
It is.
Of course, you're doing a third Friday. What other events or activities does the chamber really get in and work with?
So those are our big
Yeah.
chamber events. We always help with pretty much any event that goes on here in Lebanon, whether it's, promoting it, supporting it, even partnering with them to help it, be a successful event.
Yeah.
But as far as like solely chamber events, the parade and third Fridays are generally the only ones.
Now, you have meetings too, as far as coffees,
We do.
mixers, do you call
We
them?
do. We
Where
have
you get to-
networking events.
Yeah. How often is that?
So we have a total of 6 networking events that meet once a month, anywhere from coffee with the chamber to lunch and learns to let's do lunch, where we
Yeah.
promote our restaurants, business after hours. We have a business networking. We call it, it's kind of similar to what we call speed dating, but it's speed networking.
Yeah.
And it's that you have 1 hour and you have about 2 minutes with the person in front of you, and you're able to make that one-to-one connection. So we do that right now. That's every other month.
When did that start?
We just started
Yeah,
at the first
that's
of
a
the
great.
year.
Was that your idea? Yeah.
Well, other chambers do it,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? This is a for sure way that businesses can come in and get different networking opportunities and connections one-on-one, where other times, you know, we tend to not stay with our same group at networking things. So you're going to walk out with at least 13 or 14 new contacts each time.
That's nice. Now, if you're not a chamber member and you want to maybe stop in at one of those mixers, do you allow that?
We do.
But you don't let them keep coming back without paying their dues, because that wouldn't be fair.
Right. No, they are welcome to come to 3.
That's nice.
And after 3, you know, we ask, like, you want to sit down?
go
Let's
around.
talk about what the chamber can do for you, because it's really, it's not a one size fits all. Every business is different, and the needs that they might have might look a little different from other businesses. So we just kind of try and customize any way we can.
Wow. Well, I love what you guys do. I love to help you provide everybody. How do they get a hold of you again if they have a question about membership or maybe helping out with this upcoming event? Is there a phone number or a website?
They can call our phone at 513-932-1100, or they can email us at info@lebanonchamber.org, or they can look on our website. Everything on our website is available too.
Well, fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we break?
I think, you know, things are going well as businesses begin to open and things start to come back to normal. You know, we just ask that our community support our local businesses and show them that we really appreciate them, and it keeps our community strong.
And the third Friday again in July is
July 17th.
July 17th.
Yes.
Get out here. Can you bring your dogs? Because people like to bring their dogs.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, fantastic, Ange, thanks. Hey, we'll be back right after this message.
Bob Pulte Chevrolet always gives you the best. Best price, guaranteed. Best trade-in value. Best selection. Best financing on all new and pre-owned vehicles. See for yourself at bobpulte.com. And you'll love the Pulte price.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars. Really tall. I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands? Yes. You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Credit challenge? No problem. Here at Bob Pulte Chevrolet, get approved on a new Chevrolet with financing as low as 9.9% plus $2,000 in rebates. Don't waste time shopping elsewhere. Apply online today at bobpulte.com. And you'll love the Pulte price.
Well, that's our show for this week. Hey, next show, July 21st, I'm going to introduce you to a guy, Dave Campbell. Dave has been through the coronavirus. He was in a hospital 2.5 months. They put him in a medically induced coma. He survived, and he's excited to share his story with you, so don't miss it. 2 weeks. And also, we're going to be looking at some other stuff in our town too, so be safe, be well. We'll see you in a couple weeks.